Okay, good. The microphone is working. I didn't have it plugged in when I opened OBS, and it's always a bit iffy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the increasingly rare Valfius TV show. It's been like, I don't know, 10, 11 days since my last stream. We're going to be doing more Pyre today. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I want it to be on the right side of the screen, but no, left side for this game. There we go. Today's going to be a short one. I've got to be somewhere this afternoon. So, I feel like I am getting really close to the end of Pyre. I just don't know if I have enough time to finish it today. I might be able to stream a couple of days next week. I've just been really busy with not cleaning this controller. What the crap? I've been really busy with work. It seems that once I quit Dollar Tree, I'll get full-time hours at the Mexican restaurant I've recently started at, so that's going to cut into streaming time quite a bit. But on the plus side, I won't have to DoorDash anymore, so it might actually work out to where I get to stream more than I would have with having to worry about my DoorDash performance and all that. This game is taking a long time to load. What's the deal with all these load times? Yeah, that's all I've been. That's all I've been doing really is working, and recently started playing The Witcher, which is why I had some Witcher music going for the countdown today instead of the Pyre OST. It's kind of got me in the mood to listen to all of that. I am a little concerned about the time it's taking this game to load. How long do I give this before I close it and just restart the thing? I'll give it a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Maybe. There we go. I'm gonna try to remember all the voices, but if the voices change, I mean, that's part of the course for Valfius TV. Yeah, I hope everyone watching this is doing alright. Hope, once again, apologies for the abrupt ending of my last stream where, the power went out. I stopped checking on everyone's statuses quite a while ago, didn't I? Wolfred is nowhere to be found. Of course, Joe Dario has been You call upon me for some purpose, my reader. Let's ask what's on her mind, yeah. Leave me alone, reader. I am in no mood to talk at you this time. She is concerned about something, but you cannot sense what, and she refuses to say. I see little need to keep on blathering about to you, as once I did. I should not have let you in. Begone. My services are yours, but this place is my own. Okay. Come visit me again sometime. Well, that is a great way to... I wonder if she is also upset by the suddenness of last stream's ending. At dawn, Sir Gilman finds you shortly before the wagon is set to depart. Hark, Master Reader, this knight, he understands that we shall soon stand against the Pyre Hearts and his former knight commander. This knight is eagerly awaiting the occasion, rest assured. Sir Deluge shall see that our true strength lies in the bonds that have flourished between us. Sir Gimli rejoins the others in making final preparations for departure. As you prepare to set off forth, you sense his mixed emotions about the coming right. Oh, yeah, we were right here, weren't we? I feel like my experience with this game has suffered a little bit by the decreasing frequency of my streaming. Wait. I remember I would always read these. The serpent-titaned Gandalf turned to brittle stone not long after his death. Of that you may be certain. What remains is a flat, elevated basin that stands us closer to the heavens. Upon the fallen Gandalf's hide, the stars themselves alight, and you shall know you stand on sacred ground. We set the metal sigils, lit the candle flames, and we emblazoned on the rock-like forms the sigil of our passage to and from this land. And then the stars themselves, they did reply to us. They sang, shining bright, their voices loud and clear. We understood their cadence, and we knew how often to return. Alright. So I know it's been a while. I'm probably hey guys, say, what are you guys doing with all this stuff back there, all the way back here? That's what I meant to say. You know, it's not so bad here. I was thinking, and I got some pretty good stuff. I think you ought to check it out. I don't have a lot of money. I can sell this though. Oh, hey, die. That's wonderful. Faye's gone. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. Then this. This is just for the next. Oh no, this, oh, yeah, this raises talisman. Which item was it that, increased, yeah, this one. Okay, so this one's permanent, so let's go ahead and do this. And I'm broke again. Let's go to Tice. They're leaving, Dad. Just look at how much we got this time. He's so happy. Okay, let's raise some quickness, and then whose quickness shall I raise? I feel like Tizo could do with some quickness, with some. Yeah, there you go. There you go, little buddy. What does this do? Raises the rank. Raises the rank. I probably shouldn't have bought so many because I just realized that almost everyone's already got theirs up to the highest level. So I'll just go ahead and level you up. And regret the way I spend my money. Alright. Regret all of my life choices. By now, having to make preparation for the rite has become second nature to your companions. They go about the process efficiently, and this time in almost total silence. You cannot shake the sense that the routine shall not go on much longer. Sir Gimlin approaches and confirms to you that the Nightwing sigil is set. Everyone has their books and raiments, and the grounds are ready. Everything should be in order. Well then, Master Reader, this night supposes we could while away these final precious moments prior to the rites by witnessing the starred parade about the glorious night sky. To think that this knight lived so much of his life utterly ignorant of the stars and their eternal beauty. You and Sir Gilman stand together in silence for a time, looking for the stars above to show some indication that the rite is to commence. It is taking too long. Concern begins to well up in you, but then
It seems the stars once more have mustered wherewithal to usher in the rites.
Yay!
The sky grows dimmer by the day. An age is ending.
Boo!
Surely you must know by now that you shall never all be free. Yet still you struggle to fulfill some senseless plan. But I digress, of course. Some of us still honor the tradition. Some of us hold dear the teachings of the scribes.
The pyres on each side are burning bright. From across the field, you observe the leader of the Pyre Hearts approach and remove his mask. You Nightwings! Our kind, we never should have bent our backs for the likes of you. This knight has no love for your accursed country anyway. This knight could simply swim back to the Sea of Solace wherever he so pleases. Perhaps you shall do exactly that once we are finished here.
Who shall besmirch the Nightwing's name?
Well, we're going to start with a Sir Gilman.
Sir Gilman.
And then we're going to go for... Huh. I think I'm going to go for Volfred for defense.
Volfred.
And then Tizo as a backup scorer. Yeah.
Tizo.
Sprioki! If this is to be your last conversation with the Pyre Hearts, then Tizo vows to make it one to remember. Pyre Hearts, this might be our final battle, so this night he vows he shall not flee, not this time. Now on guard. Okay. Vroom, vroom.
Now
Oh.
then, commence.
Okay. Vroom, vroom. Woo!
In honor of the scribes.
Indeed, in honor of the scribes. I forgot how to fly. I forgot how to fly.
Both vanished.
That's how I do it. Okay. Nope, 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 nope.
The flames of freedom. Good.
No! Yes.
Sir Gilman plunges into the fire. Oh? The imp did it!
You sound so surprised. Oh, they're playing good defense now.
War has left your clutches.
Alright, let's do it. No. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I got this.
Yes.
Just make a quick and painless on this night because it looks like it's over for us pretty much.
That craven Sir Deluge, doubtless using exile as a means of... There. And it is done. The Nightwings managed to prevail. Their hapless adversary stood no chance.
Not at all.
The ceremony is complete.
This night declares the taste of victory is sweet indeed. We prevailed against a worthy foe. Well done, Nightwings. As for the Pyre Hearts, though they fought us fiercely many times, I doubt it that it shall be enough. May they find mercy in this land. Squeaky Hawk. Pyre hearts, perhaps we ought return now to the bottom of the Sea of Solus. These rites, this night, he thinks that we have learned enough.
The rites do tend to teach something of trust. May misfortune find you ere the turn of the stars.
He's such a fan. He's such a pal, such a sweetheart. Inside the wagon, after overcoming the Pyre hearts, Volfred is discussing aspects of the outcome with the others when the lone minstrel seeks you out. Pardon your interruptions, reader, though I need to ask a moment of your time while the night is clear enough for you to see. Please, go have a look outside. Perhaps the news of your next destination may further stir the hearts of your companions. We're going back to the mountain, are we? Among what stars yet remaining shine, one of them now burns as bright as you have ever seen. Yep. Okay, we're going back to the mountain. Faster and faster the cycle turns. We have a 70% chance of success. Oh, I can't back out of this. I have to actually select it. I forgot. We're playing against the doggos. The cycle turns even more quickly now, until such time as it shall shudder to a halt. It makes a sound then, almost like a laugh. I forget myself, reader. I should not say such things. The scribes, they would say that one ought focus on the path in front of her. When we set forth to walk a long and labored path, it can all be too much. If we stand back and look upon it as a whole, we may well decide to turn around. But if we begin to walk, whilst casting down our gaze, and whilst resisting the urge to look too far ahead, we may make steady, careful progress. Soon enough, we may arrive where we endeavored. The lone minstrel bids you a good evening. You had best retire for the night, for when first daylight comes, it shall be time again to take to the skies. Okay. Let us sally forth. Sally forth. That's the right way to say it, right? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just make stuff up and try to roll with it. Oh, hello. That's my maneuver. Your wagon reels from the impact of some sort of massive object slamming into it mid-flight. False Nightwings. Oralek calls down to all of you from atop his wagon. Again, you seek to climb that cursed mountain beneath us. Again, you seek to take my rightful place. I should send you crashing down to it, that you might fall as I have. He stares down at all of you. But I shall not. Rather, we shall meet upon the summit ere the last cycle of the rites is ended. Until then. Where'd you get your wagon? Hey. Okay. Tizo or Bertrude. Once more we sail above the fall of Solium. The temple of the 8 scribes await us at its summit. None have seen the temple, save for those worthy to conduct the rites there, and myself and my counterpart, Celeste. You may, then, wonder whence it came. The cycle of the rites has turned since the beginning of this age. Over its course, whilst waiting for the cycle's turns, some exiles thus paid tribute to the 8 scribes. I think the scribes may not have wanted such extravagance, or the carved effigies of them along the way, yet it is for triumphants to decide how best to honor the rites. They chose to honor them as you see there. How you remember this, of course, whether you even wish to do so, that is yours to decide. The scribes would not want otherwise. So, I'm definitely going to be... Well, I don't even know if Bertrude will still... if she'll qualify or not. She hasn't before. No, I feel like I'm going to be using Tizo regardless, so... Mount Elodial. You make landing on the sacred Mount Elodial after your encounter with Orlek. Orlek spoke the truth. He has a right to gain the summit. When the time comes, Celeste shall deem him worthy, and shall let him pass. While he has transgressed against the rites, he has also already been anointed and prevailed. Nothing is written in the book on this, and liberty ought already be his. For the time, it seems he has not yet traveled to the summit. Perhaps he is still making preparations with his fellow exiles. When exactly Orlek intends to make good on his promise, he did not make clear. For now, you are to confront Barker and the dissidents upon the summit. But first, you may prepare. Okay. Let's go. Later that afternoon, you accompany Tizo through the fading glory of Temple High Road to the monument of Lus Glorian. Hello again, old friend. I know that you and all the scribes are watching over me, and all of us, and I'm grateful to you. Your ancient rites are ending soon. I promise you, my friends and I will make the most of our last 2 chances here. 2 chances. I think we have an official number now. It's time to continue practicing my vocations. Oh, right. Oh, shoot. Tizo seems to be in the midst of a conversation with the lone minstrel as you approach the two of them. The little imp appears perturbed about something. And above all, he was very, very loyal. Fiercely so, in fact. All throughout the land knew better than to underestimate him in spite of his little stature. In that respect, Tizo, and in many others I might add, your great-grandfather was very much like you. Aye, I am being serious. Have you known me to be the jesting sort? Just so. Then please do not degenerate yourself. For you are not only his heir, but you are my remaining link to him, and thus to all the 8. And, more importantly, you are my friend. The Nightwings need you now, more so than ever. The lone minstrel turns to you. Is that not so, reader? Oh yeah, like, Tizo is very valuable to this group. You concur with the lone minstrel's assessment of Tizo as the most remarkable and irreplaceable member of the group. He is an extraordinary imp indeed. At this, Tizo rushes up to you and gives you an imp hug. Kree-hawk! Tizo bounds off happily, and the lone minstrel looks on. And there he goes. Thank you indeed, reader. Tizo sometimes loses sight of all that makes him special, a quality uncharacteristic of his kind, but not so much uncommon among yours. Once there was a time when he was the sole imp able to conduct the rites. Since then, however, other triumvirats have found imps with the capacity for it. They make for useful allies, no? More than willing to conduct the rites, whilst having no desire to leave this place. Although, little Tizo does have dreams of visiting the Commonwealth. In any case, I am certain he shall continue to serve the Nightwings faithfully. The lone minstrel bows his head on his way out, bidding you a good rest of the afternoon. I shall study in private. Despite your growing knowledge of the Book of Rites, you yet struggle to grasp certain aspects of its teachings, though through greater understanding comes the reader's influence. The textures of the pages of the book, the foreign bindings, despite the volume's age, it shows so little sign of wear. At times, the power emanating from it almost overwhelms you. Inspiration comes to you in a flash. Whether from the book or from within, you cannot tell. Okay, so I've maxed that out now. Alright, let's go. Who else? Oh no, we're just going straight to Scribe's Gate now. Okay. Howdy ho! Oh, what happened? A messenger imp, with news and rumors from the other side, somehow tracks you down in the quiet solitude of Mount Elodium. The imp's message pertains to Faye, who you liberated at the fall of Solium, and whose past transgressions have all been forgiven since her return to the Commonwealth. You learn that she was taken in by a well-to-do foster family, and was to be given private schooling of the highest order of the Astralist tradition. As I believing divine authority rests with the stars, they alone dictate the... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That doesn't jive with her beliefs, that's for sure. They promised her that, in time, she might one day have the honor of teaching the children of the Commonwealth herself. However, she soon went her own way, insisting that the 8 scribes themselves were calling her. She started wandering again, all on her own. That is until she located Volfred's agents. Thus her wandering ceased, and the ranks of the revolution grow stronger. They also left a simple message. Believe in the scribes. You thank the messenger imp for the report as your companions gather to discuss. That one, very powerful indeed, a sorceress of sorts. A sudden air about her, most intriguing. She has the manner of a saint, that one. She knows in her heart the traditions of the scribes. Rehum! Small in stature was that goodly Fae, yet great indeed in spirit. Even now this knight remains in awe of her. The news of Fae's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with newfound resolve. +1 hope. Okay, let's do this. You are returned once more to Scribe's Gate, where the Gate Guardian awaits under the dim sky. The exiles of the Nightwings, and you, Tariq. This is to be one of our final meetings. Greetings, at least. The Nightwings are prepared. And why is Discord not muted? Oh well. And afterwards, I would have words with you, in private, if you please. It seems to me rather late for words now, Tariq, but I shall hear them once your charge has crossed the gate. Now, all of you, come forth. Please state your names and what it is you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. Once more, we do the thing, and she lets us through. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. And Tariq? Aye, Celeste? You may rejoin the others in a while. For now, I would hear these words of yours. Certainly, Celeste. Everyone, I shall see you shortly. Okay. Oh, hey guys, it's gotten real cold up here again, and up here, but it's so that you got customers been stopping by. Okay, I maybe exaggerated a little bit since it's waiting really while. Guess, were you buying something? I really don't feel the need to buy any of these. Sorry. Yeah, see you guys around. The time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a home. I thought the music was going to continue while I was reading this. If I had known that it would stop, I would have let it play for at least a little while. The time has come again to deliver one of your fellow exiles to a homecoming in the Commonwealth, lest your adversaries, the dissidents, achieve the same instead. The lone minstrel has returned, and approaches as you await the signal from the stars. There is something that I wish to ask you, reader, something which ordinarily would not be my place to discuss in any detail. You have observed the stars. If you would not mind my asking you in such a direct manner, how many liberation rites are you supposing yet remain? Tizo has already hinted that there's 2, and it wouldn't surprise me. If you look at it from the gameplay's perspective, we have 4 people still in our party, and we can't conduct the rites once it gets less than 3. So I'm assuming the length of this game is determined with the assumption, under the assumption of the possibility of the player winning every liberation rite. If I had lost some, I wouldn't be as certain. But you tell him the only logical deduction which you have been able to make based on all of your readings of the stars of late, that there shall be one final liberation rite after tonight. I concur with your evaluation, reader madam. I wish to make certain that you were aware, so that you and the Nightwings may yet make the most of your remaining time together thus. As to what shall happen once the final liberation rite is ended, we soon shall both find out. But lo, it seems that we are called upon once more. Look forth.
Think back for just a moment, if you please. When you first looked upon the Book of Rites, think back upon the words that it revealed.
Okay.
Oblige the voice that tells you more. Oblige the voice that tells you more. Would that the scribes were here among us still. I would not sing your praises to them, rest assured. I trust that you shall savor this occasion. You shan't have to oblige me for much longer.
Won't that be a relief? The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirats is present and prepared. I concur. The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirats is present and prepared. Then, anointed one of the dissidents, come forth now and declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries, the Nightwings. Barker bursts out of some hidden corner, laughing, as he paws at his masks. A real pleasure to have you here, mateys, truly. Barker Ashpaws. Call me Barker, though, alright? Bye-bye, it was a real pisser getting here, Begging your pardon, Barker Ashpaws, you thusly speak upon the summit of the sacred mountain. Oh my, I'm so terribly sorry to offend you there, lassie. I forgot we got the stars above up there, and I'd make me watch me language. Though, let's get one thing straight, lassie. I don't give a bother before your sacred mountain, so you take it and you shove it. Me and my pack, we're here just for the laughs, you got it? The other side ain't any better than this one. We ain't interested in your freedom. But just the same, we're gonna get it. Take it from those wee little babes there so antsy for it. Hear that, you Nightwings? You better put up a good fight here, or I ain't gonna be happy, understand? He shoved his mask back on. Right. Come on then, and let's hurry up and get this damn thing started. Nightwings, your choice. In whose name shall you conduct the liberation rite? I wish you the wisdom of the scribes in making your choice, reader. And I wish you to come prepare our song with me, Tariq.
Whom shall you attempt to send home this time?
The only one not worthy is Volfred. Oh, I didn't buy anything. Although, no, everyone's talismans are maxed. Okay. I think I shall anoint Bertrude.
Bertrude.
Then now, perhaps, at last, shall we return to whence we came, and there shall we resume our work, if truly we are to return.
Who shall be at her side? Sir Gilman.
A glorious night this is fast shaping up to be, is that not so?
Tizo.
Hercule!
With that out of the way,
Alright then, mates, no more waiting, no more holding back, and let's rip them to shreds. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
commence.
Ooh, almost got me. It's overpowered that he could just fly forever. Piss. What in the... Alright, mate, something's gone right funny with that orb, I tell you. Better laugh it up while we can, say I. Indeed, something strange seems to have happened to the celestial orb. It shudders now, as though possessed with some chaotic power. With the same chaotic power as your adversaries.
And there it is, at last. The blasted Nightwings proved their worth. Their adversaries they defeated utterly. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus the scribes have chosen. The exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free, absolved of all misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. Her adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
What a joke. Here, I was thinking we were going to make him cry after all this. Come on, mates. I've had it with these with this stuck-up place. Let's get out of here already, eh? Thy efforts seal our return. She then looks over to you. Reading one. Surely thou must have known that we have little interest in returning to this place, to which we now return. Surely there are those among you with a stronger preference to look upon its proud facades, which to our ancient eyes doth merely cause offence. It signifies one of two things, it seems. Either thou seekest to be rid of us, or, more likely, thou believest we shall serve the plan of Sandalwood at greater length in our newfound capacity. She looks at you again, intent. We think we know which one it is. Thy efforts seal our return. Then, soon we shall resume our work in earnest. Perhaps we shall see ye again. Or perhaps not. The Shimmerfool whisks her within, as you hear her call out to you one final time. Until whichever outcome, reading one. May she return in glory.
Godspeed, Bertrude. The cycle of the rites is nearly at an end.
You return to the wagon after having prevailed against the dissidents in a liberation rite. Such the glorious night this turned out to be. Kruhika! You succeeded in liberating Bertrude. You returned to the Commonwealth in glory. The last light of the stars still shines for us above. At this point, what is to become of our plan needn't be the subject of our speculation. I trust that we'll learn the outcome soon enough. Our actions to this point shall pave the way, perhaps our faith as well. So, let's for now focus on this. We stand upon the brink of the last turn of the cycle of the rites. Soon, we'll have a final chance to get one of you home. Now, reader, up for a little stargazing. Let's see where in the downside we shall be returning for these final rites. You turn back toward the darkness to look upon the last few stars too stubborn to relinquish their light. Where are we going? So it looks like I'm going to be against the accusers no matter what. I wonder why they're crossed out now. I wish I'd been paying more attention to the planner. Maybe it's always done that for the team that I've defeated in the Liberation Rite. Yeah, let's play against the Tempers. Why not? Once more, you are to face the Tempers then, although I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make way to the cairn of Haub, where everyone is feeling more refreshed, as much as possible. Reader, but you shall always bear a burden. It is much lighter than the burden of a lonesome exile. Go forth and become free. Then join with others such as you, and lead with mercy, continuing to demonstrate your worth, and knowing that the Empire's fall formed the foundation of our Commonwealth. You shall cease to be a reader and become a voice both to the free and to your successes here. We shall take up this book when you no longer need it. The cycles of the right shall see to it that you and others like you shall be liberated ere the coming of another age. May the stars shine ever brightly on us all. The lone minstrel has returned already to the wagon, where Bertrude's homecoming to the Commonwealth. After Bertrude's homecoming to the Commonwealth, in the Liberation Rite. Your companions are most grateful to you, reader. Would that Pamitha could have been here with the rest of them to witness Bertrude's glorious return. I trust they shall reunite there in your commonwealth, where they may yet contribute to the outcome of your plan, and thus create a place that welcomes all of you. May you and your companions to continue to prevail thus. For now, Celeste and I are to return to our respective roles until we meet again at Scribe's Gate. Rest well for now, reader. He bids you a good night, a good rest for the night. It is daybreak. You are to set forth now to the cairn of Haub for what appears to be the final time. Thereafter you shall return here for one last exile's final chance at liberty. I imagine we'll be going against the other Nightwings at that point. Unbelievable again, our hated enemies befall us. Behold our bitter rivals in the rights. Would that those blasted rights did not impose such arbitrary rules that we would send you. Then we would use our talents here and now rather than words. Know this, you fools. However high up may attempt to fly in that abomination, you shall always be beneath us. In spite of having checked earlier, you realize the Black Wagon suffered some damage to one of the wheels. Volford is already working on repairs, but not having much luck. This old wheel has often been the bane of my existence, my girl. Hours later, the wheel is fit for travel again, although fixing it seemed to have taken a toll on him. Oh no. Maybe I should have landed in the other place. Commence the... Oh. Hold on. You know something, guys? I heard a crazy room story that old Bertrude. She finally got out of here. Back to the other side. Can you believe it? You give her my regards, okay? Because I got a lot of customers because of her, and I do mean a lot. However, what can I do for you? Wow, 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 wow. It's just... I don't need that. I don't need any of this anymore. Didn't see nothing you like this time, huh? I'm sorry, buddy. After making all the necessary preparations amid the barren wastes of the cairn of Haub, you and your companions await the commencement of the rites. It is quieter even than usual at the onset of such events. The lone minstrel appears, bearing some sort of news. I have checked, and it appears as though the Tempers have not yet arrived, reader madam. There is no sign of Ignarius or anyone. Their sigil is not set either. If what he says is true and your adversaries are not present, then you presume the rite cannot commence. However, the stars themselves soon indicate that you are mistaken. So it probably didn't matter which I picked this time. Who am I playing against then? Surely they're not going to have us on an empty field with no one guarding the other.
Reader, the Commonwealth, your home. Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books. Aflame because of you. Because of your outlandish plan. Not that you care. Not that you shall live to see this place again. Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed. Though by all means, keep trying. As for myself, I shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
The rite is set to commence, but your adversaries, they have failed to show. Bravo! Indeed. As the rites are drawing to a close, some of the triumvirates whom you have met, perhaps they are beginning to decide the stars are not worth heeding any longer. Ignarius, you wonder whether he would give up on the rites like that? He did seem rather disaffected, having failed in the liberation rite before. Perhaps he did finally decide to quit for good. In any case, we have begun the ceremony here, and so I ask that we end it.
Choose now your band of traitors. Volfred. Tizo. Sir Gilman. Ow.
This cannot possibly be honorable, can it?
Lo, even your adversaries have abandoned you. And it is done. The Nightwings prevail by default. Not that their adversaries even care.
No celebration at that time. Hey, Tachil, how's it going? Welcome back to some Raffies TV, where we are quickly approaching the end of this game now. Very quickly. And it's starting to do some weird things, like throwing us onto a field without anyone to play against. Hope you're doing well. My only hope is that our would-be adversaries find some peace. Yeah, sorry if you posted that like a little while ago. My chat's been rather quiet, so I've kind of like not been paying attention to that part of my screen. Not bad. That's good. That's good. I mean, you know, if it's just not bad, then I mean, you know, it's not great, right? Like, it is my wish that you feel great and glorious on this fine day. Yeah, I'm doing all right as well. I'm not bad. Work's been wearing me out a bit. I got a taste of what it would be like to work at my new job full time. It's exhausting, and I don't know if I have it in me to work in that kind of environment. But I'm going to give it like an honest go. I'm going to give it a proper shot. And if in a few months he fires me because I'm just not able to perform, then I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Literally less than a minute? Okay. I think it's because the chat messages down here fade really quickly that I just sometimes think, oh my god, you posted that forever ago. No. Oh, yeah. I was about to ask how you enjoyed the 4th, but then I realized that y'all don't do that over there. So...
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes. Now go and wallow in the downside for a while.
I shall wallow. I shall wallow in the downside. No one speaks further of the Tempers back at the Black Wagon. Everyone... I find that surprising, but, you know, I guess maybe as like a sarcastic way, be like, congratulations, you filthy American, you know. Just as long as nothing burned down, it's good, right? Everyone is instead preoccupied with the right that is to come. This night is to believe. We have but one remaining chance at freedom. Here and now? I'm afraid so. Our plan is an imperfect one. Yet here we are, faced with this vital opportunity. He looks over to you. Reader, my girl, please go see for yourself. I think we all know where we are headed next. And I suspect I know whom we shall face when we arrive. The others turn to you as well. You turn toward the wagon's door. You know what you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. The dim and fading light of the final star still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. They're really laying this whole finality thing pretty thick right now. The true Nightwings. Yep. This is what they call the final battle. Everyone has quit. Okay, literally everyone... Okay. You are summoned to the Fall of Solium for your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of the rites be ended for an age. You sense that if the rites ever shall commence again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that of any of your companions, even the longest-lived ones. The stars revealed to you one thing more. The adversary whom you shall face shall be Orlek. Already he has crossed Scribe's Gate and awaits your arrival. If the 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness, perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwing should, in the end, be forced to face themselves. Orlek, curse this damnable cycle that it must pit us against him in this, our final chance. Let us retire for the night. We shall not have many chances more for rest before our journey's ended. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Elodial to make a final effort to achieve your plan and get somebody home. But who? So...
Foolish reader. Your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot. They are exploiting you. You shall never have your freedom.
Okay. By dawn, you are already up and about after a troubled slumber. The Black Wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the Fall of Solium. No one speaks. I forgot what I was going to say before he said all that. It must not have been important. As you lift into the skies, the lone minstrel raises his voice. cutting through this somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstance. Perhaps it may help you to pass the time along our flight. Would you mind it very much if I were to play this Song of the Nightwings? No, by all means, play. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad so that all among you might hear it. He begins without another word. So yeah, I think I would have been able to complete this game last stream if I didn't lose my power. I mean, this probably goes without saying at this point. But Supergiant really is really great with the music in their games. They even timed that pretty good too, like unless I was rushing to get up there. Not. Oh, it's not letting me move fast anyway. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be. I only have three people left. I'm gonna be using all of my characters, so I guess it doesn't really matter who I'm gonna go for Volfred. You touch down amid the old masonry of Mount Elodial and make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall soon commence. Again, they're just wanting to really make sure that you know, as the player, as the reader, this is the last one. This is the last time. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom. All others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan to which you are all part shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed. Last time I checked it, there was like an 85% chance that it was going to be successful. So, after having landed, you join Volfred on an expedition to the monument of Molten Milithe, for it is likely to be the final time. Hear me, O scribes. Long have I served your will, and long have I pursued the path which you revealed to me. Our plan now stands on a precipice. If we prevail this night, then we may yet achieve its goals. We should reform the Commonwealth under the auspices which you yourselves described within your book. As we shall stand together, so I ask that you please stand with us. By your divine grace, we may yet prevail. And, please, have mercy on Oralek as well. Soon he is finished. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Molten Milithe has shown you favor. At dawn you shall begin your last ascent, for now your vocations may occupy what little time you have to spare. I think I'm going to tutor. It's not like studying on my own is going to make a lot of difference. I can only mentor one anyway. Everyone else is already fully leveled up. I should be interested to see which lessons you have taken from the book. You find a remote spot where you and Volfred can discuss any of his misgivings or fears about your journey or your fellow exiles. The conversation gives perspective and relief. No! It's so close! Oh, man. I thought I was going to max him out, but no. When we can speak of fear out in the open, we come closer to achieving freedom. Our struggles are not ours alone to bear. Oh well. I'm sorry, Volfred, you shall not gain a true enlightenment. I should have used you more. Messenger Imp brings news. The Imp brings tidings of Bertrude in particular, and what became of her since she was liberated at the fall of Solium. You learn she shrugged off all the pomp surrounding her return and retreated to her native home in the southern bogs. Thereafter, she proved difficult for the Commonwealth to reach. Each time officials came to her with various opportunities, she would curse them, then send them on their way. Finally, however, she met with certain guests of a different sort. She is now working with Volfred's sons and daughters of the Revolution, putting messages to parchment and creating pigments that they use to spread their word and cause. She leaves a message for you personally. We shall be watching ye. Coming from her, you take it for a compliment. You thank the Imp for bringing you these details as your companions gather to discuss. Ah, but it is good to hear that stately Bertrude is as headstrong as ever now that she is home. This knight shall have you know that he was often terrified of her. Scroon! My debt to you is finally repaid, O Bertrude, my old friend. Yet through your great wisdom we might still achieve much more. The news of Bertrude's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with resolve! The messenger Imp accepts a small bite to eat from you and heads off. Alright, so we got 1+1 hope. You stand before the Scribe's Gate with your companions. The Gate Guardian is there, as ever, but you sense something different in her. The exiles of the Nightwings, we shall not meet again after the coming rite. Tariq and I, it shall be time we take our rest, I think. Greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Nightwings are prepared, though this time I am uncertain anyone amongst us feels thus. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? And then nothing. Not for the rights, or us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwings, step forward. Please state your names and what it is that you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. One by one, we do the thing. Oh, I'm actually... okay. This is Sir Gilman of the Sea Dominion at your service. This knight's never-ending quest for honor shan't end here. Yet first he has a noble duty to uphold. My name is Volfred Sandalwood. I long as yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright, and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend for it. Finally, you step forward, and once more, you, a crippled scholar who vowed to help her friends be free again, and who managed to come this far with this group. The Great Guardian observes you for a moment, then motions past the archway toward the summit. The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory. Except for you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said... The rites are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks at her, then over to the rest of you. Pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. The Gate Guardian and the Lone Minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. And head up toward the summit, where the big book yet resides, promising knowledge and freedom, or some such. You have gained the summit of Mount Elodial for the 7th time, the final time in which any one of you shall have a chance to leave the downside. Oh. I thought she said she didn't want to talk to me anymore. Thank you for visiting on such short notice, reader. I understand you have important matters to attend to, so let me be blunt. Please, listen for a moment, then. I know this whole affair is coming to an end, all of it. I sense the binds that formed the rites becoming weak, which means soon you will not need me anymore. Not that you have needed me at any point, but still, my services will not be of any further use. I would love to tell you that this means I shall be free from my eternal prison. For some of my beyonders, it shall be a release. My accomplices are bound by weaker words than those which have bound me. They shall fade away, I think, and finally rest. I, however, shall remain. She hesitates a moment. Thus, I have a proposition for you. I do not know where you shall go from here, but I ask that you take me there, wherever it shall be. By that I mean, take this stone prison of mine and keep it. Do not just leave it, as all your predecessors have, each time their stay among the Night Wings reached an end. Soon, the Beyonder Crystal shall serve no use at all, except to keep me trapped. I am content to remain thus, for I have little choice, but I would prefer to do so in your company. For I do enjoy your company, reader. This may not be much of a compliment, but I assure you that I much prefer your company to an eternity of solitude. I have no wish to see you gain in years and to eventually decay whilst I remain unchanging, but I should rather have more years whilst having contact, even if those years are to be brief. They shall afford me many more in which I might think back upon our times. Nor do I expect you to accommodate my needs, for I am well aware I have my limits in accommodating yours. That is to say, I wish you to go forth after this night and live your life however you see fit, for your own sake. May all this rights business enrich your coming days somehow. And, in considering that life after this night, if you think that there may be a place for it with me, however small, then, once again, I simply ask that you take me along. This way, should you ever wish to visit me again sometime, you could, and I would like to have that as an option more than not. My request here is a selfish one, for there is little I can offer in exchange other than what little my companionship is worth. Perhaps I could lull you to sleep once in a while. Who knows? You could always try to sell the Beyonder Crystal for a reasonable sum somewhere, or something to that end. There must be someone out there with an interest in this thing. So then, you have heard my sad little proposal. What do you say? I'll do it, why not? You grasp the Yonder Crystal and set it into the folds of your clothing. Sandra senses this and makes a sound as though surprised. Thank you, reader. She is at a loss for a moment then. Let us go forth then from this place. Go, and face your last remaining adversaries. May you crush them under heel and achieve the outcome which you seek. I believe you shall prevail. She disappears into the stone for now. And it's gone. I'm just, this is the last time we're going to be doing this, so I want to just take a good look at everything. One final ringing of the bell. One final visit to the slug shop. Hey guys, I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, I'm going out of business here, I guess. Just hasn't been the same, you know, with all the stars all fading out and stuff. Anyway, so just wanted to say you guys are great, and I'm sure I'm gonna miss you having you guys as customers and all that. But ooh. But I got some good news too. All my stuff, it's all on sale now, and I will throw a little extra there just for you, okay? So enjoy, and maybe I'll see you guys around, okay? Oh my goodness, they are all his goods are 5% off. How wonderful. Cheers. Again, I really don't feel the need for all this. Sorry, Ron.
Sanctifies.
See you guys. Let's do it. You have gained the summit of Mount Elodial for the 7th time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The lone minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wish to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well, this night and always. Go forth with glory. Then he looks up and extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Volfred has joined you. All of your companions are there with him, in fact. It is strange for me to say, given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now. Let us achieve our plan. Scrahi! Master Reader, it has been this night's greatest honor to have served with you. Let this be our most glorious stand yet. I have no idea who I'm going to anoint for freedom here. You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions, with whom you have withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs. After this night, the outcome of Volfred's plan, the plan of which you all have been a part, shall be decided. One way or another, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get them one way. Oh, for now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles as the last remaining stars ignite. And behold, up in the sky, there are twerking ghosts. It's very strange that they would visit now, of all times. But they have graced us with their presence here at the end of all things. How's it going, Ghost? Did you have a wonderful 4th of July? Did you enjoy your time? The final liberation rite of this age shall now commence. I'm doing alright. I'm prepared to stand together. Well, here you go. I hope you enjoy.
For one last time, upon the fall of Solium, dear reader, hear me for one last time. For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated, all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite. You face none other than yourselves, each so unlike the glorious Nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
The pyres burn, and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. But before the lone minstrel can concur as per the custom. Not another word. The demon Oralek slowly raises his clawed fingers to his mask. The false Nightwings have arrived, at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it here, upon this mountaintop. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silent. Then, Orlek dons his mask and stands prepared. May these damned rites cease forever, for the misery which they caused. Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus, I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or else the exile Orlek shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make the best decision and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. It is time now to choose who, if anyone among you, shall go free this one last time. They're just really, like, every piece of this dialogue is just constantly hammering it into you. This is the last one. This is the last one. This is the last one. The rest of you shall remain on the downside to the end of your days. One by one, you meet the gazes of each of your fellow exiles. Volfred, Sir Gilman, Tizo, your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Together, you have come this far, but now, the downside and the rights conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Are you prepared to... I find it interesting that they would actually allow you to back out of the final choice. Like, after forcing you to make this choice, was it 6 previous times? Now they're like, if you don't wanna, it's fine. It's fine, you know, this last time, it's whatever. You know, you could let the lone minstrel choose, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen if I choose no, but I'm going to go ahead and... Because there is no... there is no turning back. With but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation. Too bad for the rest of you.
Subordination, insurrection. He was repulsed by what he saw on the blood border, which sowed in his heart a yearning for a greater peace. He tried to use his influence to negotiate a treaty with the Highwing remnants, but not everyone was swayed. One day, he received direct orders to return to the front. When he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him down. There, in time, he became affiliated with the Nightwings and grew to become one of their finest rights conductors, until tragedy struck, and he was left clinging to life at foot of the sacred mountain. It is Volfred's plan. I feel like if I were to, like, judge this in those terms, Volfred is the best choice. And I think that's what I'm going to do.
Volfred.
Long have I dreamt that I might someday see this plan of ours come to fruition. I promise you that I shall make the most of it, if we are to prevail. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Volfred, as well as you.
Who shall lend him support? Tizo.
Cree! I think I'm going to play rather defensively this time, because I expect this to be a pretty difficult... Right, like a pretty difficult match. Master Reader, this night is overflowing with resolve to see the goodly Volfred return to rightful dignity and glory.
It is done.
Those are to be my adversaries, then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts her will over that group? You sense Orlick searching for you, almost reaching out to you. You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me, but you who would relinquish your own liberty for sake of them. Strange. It is fitting, then, that I should have to face one such as you. Then Orlick stands at the ready, signaling for his two allies to do the same. By light of dawn, the cycle of the right shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Hey, did y'all know that this is going to be the last one? I just thought I'd share that secret with all of you. Just so everyone's on the same page. This is the last one. Tariq. I am prepared, Celeste. Then, let our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it. Tizo fumbles with his mask. Hey, huh? It is good to see you. Hey, Ringtail. I'm doing all right. How about yourself? Orlick reaches for his mask in turn. How is the horn? Mended? Ha, kitty, ha! Good. A full recovery, then. But it is unfortunate to see you standing there with them, Tizo. Come with us. No questions asked. The proposition seems to catch Tizo off guard. Hey, little Kiki! But Orlick shakes his head. He puts his mask back on. This is something I must do, little one. Tizo dons his mask in turn. He chirps nothing more.
Begin. The final chance at liberation for the age.
Ah, it's too fast for me. No! Got me while I was going down for it. Yeah, we're really playing ball now. Whoop. I'm impressed. No! Let me through, damn you! I'm not gonna get through like this. Yeah, he finally got me.
The Night Wings are the first to strike.
Feeling a bit eh. Been looking at stuff for a tabletop RPG. Which one? What are you doing? You wear the raiments once again. I could not simply stand by and do nothing, Oralek. Daggerheart. I'm not familiar with that one. Yet that is what you did. When last we stood together on this blasted mountain, I fell. You simply stood. It was made by the Critical Role guys? How does it compare to D&D? You know, it's like D&D I think is the only one I'm really familiar with. You know, it's like I've heard of Warhammer, I've heard of a couple of others, but like D&D is the only one I've actually played, you know? But it's more narrative focused than structured. Okay. So, do you think it would be easier or harder to, like, DM that one? Sounds like it'd be easier for the players, but... You know, when the lines get vague like that, it can... You know, it can be difficult to, like, establish some ground rules and, like, get everyone in agreement on certain things. It sounds more friendly to, like, homebrewing, to be honest. About the same, but for different reasons. Yeah, okay, I got you. Oralek, what shall it take for you to be convinced I took no part of your betrayal? Oralek seems to consider the question, but only for a moment. Give me my damn freedom. Let me prevail, here and now. Would you promise to uphold our plan, to bring about a better Commonwealth? No. I make no promises. I owe you nothing. Then I am sorry, Oralek. My love for country comes before all else. More than your freedom and our friendship is at stake. Your love be damned, Volfred. Let us stand as adversaries then. Oh, well. Yeah, they're playing a really good game. Oh god, he was right there. The sky rains ash. Soon shall your Pyre's own mingle with them. Just then, the skies above begin to rain down fire. The final throes of the cycle of the rites, and the ending of an age. all three down here. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Fuck. At least I was lucky that it landed in the fucking... Right, I can't attack with him, I can only shield. I might lose this.
Your pyre weakens.
I might actually lose...
Now go.
They are playing such a good game.
Headlong goes Sir Gilman into flame.
All of you, you shall rot here. You shall rot, as I have all these many years. You false Nightwings, who would deny me once again my rightful liberty. You, who would deny that liberty to all of the triumvirates you face and vanquish under the guise of the traditions of those blasted scribes. Come, let us continue with this glorious affair.
How he has changed, that Warlick. Grown old and bitter lo these many years.
Oh, baited me. He baited me. No.
Engulfed within the aura. The orb.
Damn it. Damn it. Again.
Their flame has died a little.
Oh, I should have jumped.
The orb slips from your clutches.
Oh, you cheeky fuck. You absolute... Oh, I'm so glad Killman's so fast, but I missed my chance.
No, you don't.
Oh, I hate dashing with him, because you can dash right by it and it did not count for a score.
There. Headlong goes Sir Gilman into flame.
So, the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you'll deserve your freedom more than I? Then fight for it, damn you. No, 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 yes. Alright. I don't think they know what they want to do right now. Oh, nicely done. Yeah, you're gonna keep me busy. You're gonna keep me... At least I got it all the way over there. Oh, Jesus, come on. I'm better than that. Nope. Nope. Oh, my goodness. Korlek stands, breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smoldering pyre, before turning his attention back to your triumvirate. I tried to skirt by his aura and get the ball, but he was too close.
Alas. The night wings seem to be falling behind.
Oh.
Atlas worm. Ouch. A banishment. Poof. Tizo takes the plunge.
Okay. I think it's one more for each side now. Your pyre's flame now threatens to die out at any moment. Orlek makes a sound like laughter, but says nothing as he prepares one last assault against your side. Okay, let's...
And there it is, at last.
Oh my goodness.
The Night Wings proved their worth.
That was a very difficult match. I'm very happy with that.
In the end. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus the scribes have chosen
Praise the scribes, we've done it. You look upon Volfred, for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now, the Shimmer Pool shall engulf him. How is Pyre? I mean, I think it's a good game. Its format is largely that of like a visual novel, but it has, you know, the rights tacked onto it, and that's a very... Like, if there was more of, like, the rights stuff going on, I think I would like this game a lot more. But I've never really been into the visual novel genre. And, like, most of my time with this game has been very passive. I've been reading. I've been occasionally making choices. And I ultimately prefer games that, you know, you're more active. You're always doing something. Like, in that respect, I think I like Bastion and Transistor more than this. But for what it is, like, this is a really good game. I've really enjoyed, you know, the narrative, the plot, the storyline. I've really enjoyed the characters. The writing's really good. The music has been fantastic. But it's ultimately a genre of game that I don't particularly enjoy, you know? So I feel like I may not be the best person to ask how Pyre is, other than, like, I'm trying to be, like, fair and balanced with it, with my critique of it. But ultimately, I don't think I'm going to play this game again. You look upon Volfred for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now, the Shimmer Pool shall engulf him. Any moment now, he shall return to glory and join his agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Any moment now, the cycle of the right shall end until at least the dawn of a new age. Any moment now.
And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen. And thus the scribes have chosen.
Are you okay there, Mr. Voice?
Nightwings. Reader. What have you done?
Hold, there's something wrong. Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened, following the liberation rite, and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now all is still, and the light of the stars above have all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Orlick approaches, his head bowed. The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. A sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared again. Different somehow, but open. Volfred looks upon it, but it does not engulf him, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken, then. The 8 scribes. This is not their greatest treachery, it is their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom. Orlick strides toward the Shimmer Pool, but... Halt, Orlick. Orlick glances over at the lone minstrel, almost in surprise. The Shimmer Pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside, and you shall surely drown. Of that, I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this. Then we have all been cheated. No, the Shimmer Pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But, as for who returns, someone shall have to choose, ere the last light of the stars is extinguished, and the rites cease to be. This is the final trial of the scribes. The final trial of the scribes? Then, our confrontation, the liberation rite, it all was meaningless? No. The victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice among those closest to the scribes, either the anointed or she who anointed them. So then, the choice is mine to make? My freedom, weighed against the reader's, is that it? Aye. It shall be either you, the reader, or... It shall be either or. Volfred, please, make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift. A snap decision, then. Fine, I have made it. Reader, my girl, this chance at freedom that we've earned, it's yours. Take it now, and make good use of it. For you and all of us. Volfred wishes to give up his freedom so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, madam, the choice which Volfred made, or rather, the choice which he gave, it is now yours to make instead. This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this. Absurd. It may, until such time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial. And I fear there is little time remaining now. Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. freedom ought to be more than some flirtatious trifle to exchange. Reader, what is your will? Your thoughts crystallize. You have chosen Oralek. What? Oralek, do you accept the reader's choice, or shall you make another? No, I shall not make another. I accept the reader's choice. The reader's mercy. Then it is done. For a moment, Oralek appears to be at peace, and then he is gone.
Godspeed, Oralek. By the scribes, no stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished. The Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside. Was it not enough?
That actually caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to be able to actually choose, even after I won, to let him go. That night, the exile Oralek returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. He found the Commonwealth in great upheaval. Spurred by the efforts of 6 liberated exiles, Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles in the starless sky portended the return of the scribes. The people surged into the streets, shoulder to shoulder. Led by the 6 exiles, their voices shook the heavens. The leadership of the Commonwealth panicked. No blood was shed that night, and by dawn it was over. The leaders of the Commonwealth had cast themselves back into exile, or joined in this new cause. Thus, in its 838th year, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast their people into exile. And they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside, whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth, and was vital to the outcome of the plan. The peaceful outcome of the scribe's return was attributed to several key factors. One of them was the underlying ambition of the plan itself. Another was Hedwyn's visibility among the people in the streets. Identified to be a liberated exile, he was believed to be Golathonian reborn. More importantly, however, was that one of the winged harps of the high-wing remnants accompanied him. She was later identified as Fikani Shang. Oh. Their bond was symbolic of what was at stake that night, and proved vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader of the Sarian Union, Hedwig often confided in his friend, Jodariel. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwig would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all the friendships he made, he had pledged to Jodariel, Rookie Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings that they may all be free again together. He had broken that vow, for, in the end, not all of them were able to return. A terrible guilt over this darkened his mood for a time. However, the others whom he still knew lifted his spirits, much like he had often lifted theirs. All of the Nightwings knew the stakes. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so, in turn, did they oft think of him. Once the rites had ended, the imp Tizo had a job to do, quite unlike most exiles trapped forever in the downside. The lone minstrel asked that he watch over the Black Wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively to travel and for shelter all throughout their quests. Tizo obliged, for he knew that wagon, as well as its drive-imp inhabitants, perhaps better than anyone. What became of the wagon exactly was never verified, as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends, or else with fellow imps. Sandalwood sometimes called for his assistance, and Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. He often chirped about the Reader of the Nightwings, with whom he built quite a rapport. The Reader understood him perhaps better than anyone. Indeed, Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings, and their many adventures throughout the land that was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret for messenger imps relaying news to and from the Sarian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solace every single chance he got. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that the chance at freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Almer Oldheart's grasp. Thus, they and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomir Valley. There, they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downside tend to do. Some time after the rites had ended, the Oldhearts at last heard the news that the Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought old Dalbert great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no love for the nation that cast him down, along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake a pilgrimage to the scribes. Alpo never shared his father's view of the scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes. And so, after a period of mourning, Almer began a new journey. Not a day went by that Almer Oldheart did not think about his father, and give thanks to him, and speak of him, at morning and at night. Would that the stars yet shone, for surely Dalbert's would be there among them, smiling down at his son, and watching over him and his kin. Hey Stolen, how's it going? After the final liberation rite, Lindo refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lindell dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted, rather forcefully, that any evening now the stars would shine for him again and mark the way toward his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lindell the Liar was never seen again. However, there have since been sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lindell's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings became inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings who remained in the downside continued to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there is no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the apparition Sandra the Unseeing. Hope you're doing alright today, Stolen. How did you enjoy the 4th of July? One possibility is that, when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder Crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Oh yeah, I think it's the biggest summer holiday over here. Yeah. I realize it's not a thing anywhere else, but I went around a couple of my European friends' stream yesterday, and I was like, this is the obligatory American, wishing an obligatory happy the 4th of July to all of you. I know it's not a thing over there, but I have to do it. It is the custom. Others remain skeptical that the Beyonder Crystal ever existed, or rather that the visions that it granted were anything other than the result of an active imagination or a fever dream. The bog dwellers of the southern bogs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with binding enchantments. If there existed such an object, in which the Sisters of the Arch had been expelled for more than 800 years, then the enchantment could have expired along with the light of the stars. Oh yeah, this is the end. I'm learning the fates of all of the characters based on, a variety of factors, my choices, how the rites went, that sort of thing. What this would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than it may have meant that they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder Crystal remain unknown. Yet, those exiles of the Nightwings who claim to have seen this apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence, or perhaps a little fear. Of course, we actually know what happened. I took it. Can you believe this, reader? Honestly. Sandra has appeared before you, as well you can see. They are so far from the mark with all this nonsense, I am wont to laugh. In fact, here goes. She laughs. She is referring to the account of her. You sense she does not care for it. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you at least in passing, when next they are at it. Though they shall never know even the half of it, shall they? I mean, it is funny. You indicate to Sandra that the real truth of what happened between you would perhaps make too less vicious a tale to be told in such a format. She makes a bemused sound at this. Perhaps that story ought to get out then, to think that they would go to all the trouble to make literacy accepted once again, only to print such drivel. Anyway, let us keep going, lovely reader. We know the truth of it. That is what matters. She fades into the Beyonder Crystal for now, and you tuck it away safe. Sir Gilman!
Conceal the obedience.
The Warm Knight Sir Gilman had elected to go into exile as penance for his failure to uphold his military obligations to the Commonwealth. To him, earning back his freedom was tantamount to erasing the shame of his past. His honor was at stake, more so than anything. Yet when it became clear to him that he would not go free again through the rites, he readily accepted the outcome, for he knew by then that much more was on the line. He regretted not having had the chance to contribute directly to the events that transpired in the Commonwealth, though he was pleased to hear the outcome. The conclusion of the rites and the fall of the Commonwealth made clear to him that his days as a knight had ended. He declared to all those in earshot that he would never fight again, unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstances, again requiring him to fight. But he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly, though never found as skilled and motivating of a partner as his fleet-footed friend, Rookie Greentail, whom he remembered fondly. He was always grateful for the counsel of the reader, and would regale her over and over about the time he squashed the spawn of unfathomed plurns. He wasted no time dwelling on his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander. The other Worm Knights stayed well clear of him. Gilvern never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion, and was content to lead a monastic life on a small residence in the hills. It was just high up enough to make him keep striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from an old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honor was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself to be renewed each day. I'm glad I started this stream a little earlier than usual, because it's giving me time to read all these before I have to go. After the cycle of the rites had ceased, witch Milte returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the pit of Milithe. Then, there, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time, and left her to her vile work. Sometime after, the pit of Milithe erupted into flame. So intense was the conflagration that it could be seen all the way from Jomir Valley. Arson was suspected, though what cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled and the grounds had cooled, the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of which Milte could be found. As for the contents of the pit of Milithe, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Islak, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Sarian Union, Udmilte's repeated threats of the return of Islak were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. I'm gonna grab some water since I'm having to do all this reading. I'll be right back. I emptied this bottle. Unfortunate. No, my headphones. It's been a pretty hot week everywhere. I mean, it finally cooled down for a few days here, but it's threatening to like really get back up there. I think either tomorrow or the day after. We're all suffering, unless there are any Aussies among us, in which case, congratulations on your wintry wonderland. I envy you. South Americans, too. All his life, Sir Deluge had fled from one danger only to find themselves facing another. He had escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion. He had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth. And now he had escaped the rites. Sounds like he has a good survival strategy going. After the rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient tests were crestfallen, as their last chance to return to their homes vanished, along with the stars above. But Deluge did not mind. This outcome meant that at last there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. Having heard that Sir Gilman also had remained behind, Deluge made a point of avoiding him at all costs. Nonetheless, they ran into each other once, riding a cold current in the Sea of Solace. The meeting was terse and cordial. Deluge ended up apologizing profusely for mistreating his fellow Worm Knight, and that was the end of it. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyre Hearts yet longed for the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses toward conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, whom had taken a liking to him for some reason. Reportedly, they disappeared into the waters of Worm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in worm population observed in the vicinity. So they've been busy. That's great. That's good for them. I like how very clearly it's noted which are free and which gained their freedoms and which didn't. I'm really curious about the Commonwealth stories, to be honest with you. The Commonwealth had never provided a sense of home for the one they called Faye the Fair, so she was surprised on her return that she was so well treated. She felt uneasy about it, and besides, she knew that she would do her best to fulfill the pledge she had made to her friends. Even she could not have expected the impact she would have on the events that followed, which gave rise to our Saurian Union. Despite not fitting the image of any of the 8 scribes, Faye nonetheless stood out alongside the others amid the teeming masses on the night of the scribes' return. She spoke of the scribes with such conviction and sincerity that the crowd was very moved. After the fall of the Commonwealth, there was a renewed interest in the legend of the 8 scribes, and many new interpretations of their histories and teachings. Faye found herself at the center of all this. Her way of speaking continued to compel a growing audience. She swayed many people from their astralist beliefs. Soon, the 8th Word, which had lost favor with the people during the reign of the Commonwealth, sought her out and asked her formally to join, and she did right away. Through it all, she would wonder how her little friend Tizo had fared. While they were divided now by a great distance, he always remained in her heart. She cited her relationship with Jodario as the single most important in her life. Jodario would always provide for her some circumspect perspective and the wisdom of experience. Faye, always devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Many people of the Saurian Union cited that her gentle manner and unwavering conviction helped them brave the changing times with courage and with grace. You missed a lot of it. You missed a lot of this, so you can't follow all of it. Yeah. I mean, I keep saying this isn't my style of game, but I did enjoy my time with it. And if you're curious about it, I encourage you to give it another shot. I don't think I'm ever going to play it again, but I did enjoy my time with it. After Rookie Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to a lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth, as was the tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury, and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces, as he promised. I really thought of the original 3, Greentail here was going to be the least likely to support the revolution. But I had made up my mind pretty early on that I was going to free the original 3 before I then worked on, choosing among the others. On the night of Scribe's return, Greentail was there with the others, inspiring the masses. He never looked prouder, the very image of Jomir Minimane himself. When dawn finally came, and it became clear that the Commonwealth that everybody knew would be no more, he realized many new opportunities awaited.
He began quite a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. A good problem for a business to have. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was as well off as he always said. One of his orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pyre, to whom he took a liking during their quest for freedom. They bonded further over love of drink, and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all his many friends, and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made a special point of staying close with a group of friends he came to know so well during his time with the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. After her liberation, Jodariel soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Sarian Union. Her horns and stern countenance inspired the people to believe that she was solely a Mer reborn. She became a great, if reluctant, leader. In the uncertain times that followed, Jodariel's seasoned expertise often came into play both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people ever since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close with Hedwyn all through this experience, and they supported each other through their struggles many, many times. She kept an eye on Faye, who nonetheless demonstrated a surprising knack to get by on her own, though Jodariel was always willing to provide assistance just in case. She continued training on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, and with fondness for the most part. They were kind of brief. I mean, I was the first one to free... She was the first one I freed. I'm curious about his story most of all, but I'm going to save it for last. After regaining her freedom, Pyre found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people in the Highwing Remnants, she knew that she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Wolfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing their part to fulfill the plan. As it turned out, the plan was a success. Pyre stood shoulder to shoulder with her other fellow former exiles, and truly they were a sight to behold. A disturbing rumor later spread that night the Highwing Remnants were slated to mount an assault, which for some reason never came to pass. Pyre denied any knowledge or involvement. Afterward, Pyre played an active part in negotiating terms between the Highwing Remnants and the new nation that would become our Sarian Union. Her previous attempt at something of the sort led to her exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Someone with whom she kept in contact was the bog dweller named Big Bertrude. They would discuss all sorts of matters long into the night, and sometimes hunt together too. Sometime later, Pyre had an unexpected run-in with Rookie Greentail, with whom she had spent a fair amount of time while traveling with the Nightwings. Under these new set of circumstances, it turned out the two had more to talk about, and rather more in common. They would often put to test which one was able to outdrink the other. It is unclear as to which of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pyre received an invitation to return to the Highwing Remnants, where she was to be fully pardoned. She held out a hope that she might see her blood sister Tamitha there, knowing full well that Tamitha did not regain her freedom. Tamitha did later learn that Pyre was welcomed back by her people. However, she never responded to her blood sister's attempts to contact her. Pyre, in turn, did not expect forgiveness from her at any point. Nonetheless, she kept on trying to reach out. She said, to ruffle up her feathers just a bit. Later, when asked, Pyre admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. This was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad, for she had traveled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Sarian Union. Timothy continued to journey thus, citing that it reminded her of when she was younger and could fly unfettered. After returning to the Commonwealth, the crow known as Big Bertrude promptly returned to wet climate. Okay, that's got to be a typo or something. Promptly returned to the wet climate of her ancestral home in the southern bogs. There, for a time, it appeared that she had distanced herself from any involvement with society, or with the plan of which she was part. We know now that she worked diligently towards the goals outlined by Sandalwood, yet well outside the notice of even those who watched her movements closely. For example, the printed notices spread throughout the streets about the Night of Scribe's return were all her doing, yet no one knew until she owned up to it much later. Subsequently, she returned her focus to the sort of work which had occupied her for many, many years, both in the downside and in the Commonwealth. And she remotely managed aspects of her business in the downside, ensuring that the exiles who remained there still could get a hold of certain valuables. Much of her efforts was doubtless due to the influence of Wilfred Sandalwood, someone whom she had admired now for decades. Though they were very far apart now, she sought out news as to his whereabouts, and often cast enchantments in his favor. She maintained an unlikely kinship with the Harp, Pamithathane, whom she had known during their time together on the Nightwings. They each had different strategies for dealing with life's day-to-day annoyances, of subjects that they both found vital, if not fascinating to no end. Bertrude, most of all, kept busy with her work. The inks and notices which she still brewed and manufactured once were grounds enough for a quick sentence into exile. Back then, the one thing worse than spreading lies about the Commonwealth through speech was doing so in print. Once exposed, such writings all were burned. Now the written point of view is to be honored rather than to be feared, and Big Bertrude remains one of our time's most notable purveyors of this craft. It is quite likely something you have read in recent times would have been put to parchment by her handiwork. Yeah, whatever happened to Ron? With the rights drawn to a close, the Slug Market's revenues fell precipitously, and Falcon Ron was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yet, as is sometimes the case of those of an entrepreneurial leaning, this time of hardship led to an epiphany, or at least a said sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Ron had a run-in with a messenger it bearing news from the other side. Ron gave it one of his remaining trinkets, which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him bearing a tidy sum of wealth, a newly minted coinage of the Saurian Union. Falcon Ron could cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp then and there. Though his trade remained a gray area from a legal standpoint in the Saurian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Ron's goods to explode in popularity. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Bertrude's, and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rookie Greentail, whose own business had expanded. Especially in the Saurian Union, Falcon Ron's goods are still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. When the cycle of the rites ceased turning, Wilfred Sandalwood turned toward the starless sky and closed his eyes and prayed. It was all he could do at that stage of his plan. He aspired to assemble the liberated exiles, representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They would stand together as a vision of the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth had tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit. Yet the plan did have contingencies. Fortunately, most of those contingencies did not prove necessary. Word reached him that, on the night of Scribe's return, his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together, and their voices echoed through the streets. These former exiles, who ought have disappeared into the ranks of the Commonwealth's own leadership, now stood united with its people, who poured from their homes in solidarity. It was imperative to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in its nature. An overwhelming show of popular support would be more than enough. Ensuring this was his priority, and in the end, the result was self-evident. the plan's goal had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that, as much as possible, providing counsel from afar to those who would be at the forefront of the birth of the Saurian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant that there was only so much he could do. So was there... It's sounding like there was absolutely no way out of the downside after the rites ended. One would think that if people put, effort and time into it, they could have built passageways or something. Because, if you can send people into a place, there's got to be a way to bring them out. Or there's got to be a way to, make a way to bring them out. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to the remaining exiles of the downside. They might never return to that new nation, but at least they could experience its triumphs and its struggles in some vicarious way. So he took to his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Saurian Union, so too did exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach as many as he could. More than that, he provided the material to read a semi-annual report about the latest events both in the Saurian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to. One of his allies in all this was the imp Tizo, with whom he traveled across all of the downside. Sandalwood often cited Tizo as the wellspring of his own enthusiasm for a brighter future. Such was the creature's spirit. He welcomed the company of the reader of the Nightwings at every opportunity, and counted her a trusted friend and a keen editor. He was pleased to hear that his one-time friend Oralek had once more become a productive part of his society. Yet he spoke little of their time together. As Volfred Sandalwood gained more fame throughout this land for all his sacrifices and his contributions, it is said that he remained steadfast about two things. The first was that the cause itself ought to remain in focus. The freedom of the people had achieved. It was a gift to be cherished, a set of values that needed to be nurtured. The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who had stood with him, each in turn, by name. He never forgot any of them. One day, to commemorate his birthday, the people of the Saurian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, it is said that he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories more fallible than that of Sandalwood likewise remembered the achievements of his fellow former exiles and our cause. Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth, for he always found its bylaws to be stifling. So when the rites ended, he did not care at first. He soon grew very bored. The rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he had always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the rites for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, and thus they ran against each other back in Jameer Valley. Gradually, other exiles familiar with the rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take an interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaws some healthy competition. His old feud with Rookie Greentail ceased meaning anything to him, and he forgot all about it amid his new pursuits. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such a directionless existence at that point, found something of a calling through the rites. Whether he took the rites less seriously than any other exile of his time or more was oft debated by those who watched him work. So it just became a sport. That's pretty cool. Throughout her exile, Tamitha Thane was motivated by a single goal, to return to the Commonwealth and exact vengeance on her ancient enemies. When she realized the rites had ended, and that she would never see her mountain home again, she nonetheless remained determined to aid her people however possible. She had gathered certain information pertaining to the intentions of the Nightwings, who had formed a pact to regroup on the other side after their liberation. Other such reports exposed certain weaknesses in the Commonwealth defenses and revealed to the High Wing remnants the opportunity for a risky but potentially impactful strike. As Temitha could not participate in the assault, she learned what happened well after the outcome. On that night, known as the Scribe's Return, the Commonwealth had fallen. The High Wing remnants thus prevailed, at last, without even having to fight. Soon after the fall of the Commonwealth, Temitha learned her blood sister Pamitha was an accessory to the successful outcome. Temitha was very skeptical of this, but as similar reports kept mounting, she soon accepted the prevailing opinion, however grudgingly. Once, a messenger imp arrived bearing some sort of message, seemingly from Pamitha. However, Temitha turned it away. She would not give in to an impulse to forgive. Knowing that the conflict of the other side had ended, Temitha retreated to the crags of Black Basin and grew ever more distant. Those closest to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was at the heart of this, though for her part, Temitha never once admitted to any such weakness. When Manly Tenderstaff realized the rites had ended, and that he no longer could return to the Commonwealth through this ancient means, he was outraged. He cursed the scribes, spewing forth such a slew of blasphemy as to be very unbecoming of one of his high status and bearing. When at last he calmed himself, he focused all of his energies on attempting to find another means of homecoming. He maintained regular contact with his wealthy family on the other side via messenger imp, and used their vast resources to explore other means of escape. He tried using an elaborate pulley system. He attempted to See, this was what I was wondering about. Like, surely there's another way to get out. He attempted to retrofit a flying black wagon with superior propulsion. He tried an imp raft, a hot air balloon, even prayer. Nothing worked. There was only one way to escape the downside, and now it was gone. Tenderstaff bankrupted his family in these vain attempts. At last, such was his shame that he retreated to the teeming woods of Black Basin to Cinderroot. There he yet wallows, complaining to his comrades of the chastity who still put up with him, either about his own misfortune or the latest news from the other side. What a loser. Once it became clear to Ignarius that the rites were drawing to a close, he knew that it was time for him and the Tempers to call it quits. But first, he and the Tempers decided to celebrate, and that they did for many, many nights. The revelry did eventually subside. The exiles parted amicably and went their separate ways. He roamed the downside then, searching for some meaning in his life, sometimes taking odd jobs requiring his brute strength. He never remained alone for very long, and took on many lovers in this time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he called Curly Horns and what became of her. Though his glory days as the most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed the fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. Alrighty, Oralek. What became of you? In the aftermath of the final liberation rite, Oralek at last returned to his nation, one he had not seen in nearly 2 decades. He scarce recognized it. After all, it was in the midst of transformation, a social and cultural upheaval sparked by Volfred Sandalwood's plan. When Oralek witnessed the people of the Commonwealth standing shoulder to shoulder and chanting together on the night of Scribe's return, he looked on in silence for a time. Then he stepped toward the crowd. A murmur and hush moved through the gathered citizens at the sight of him, for they had never seen someone thus changed by the downside. But then Oralek raised his voice with theirs, and they all stood united once again. History would know him as the Demon Doctor, a term of endearment that stuck even after his horn started to recede. He lent his skill and service throughout the birth of the Saurian Union. The one he called the Shadow of the False Nightwings was someone whom he thought of often. He knew he owed his freedom to her. Having witnessed the aftermath of Sandalwood's plan, Oralek understood at last what his former companion wanted. Years ago, they conceived a version of this plan. Now, Oralek found he wished Sandalwood could be present to witness the reality of it. Alone with his thoughts, Orlek would sometimes visit the memorial of the fallen leaders of the Commonwealth. Though, other than such appearances and notwithstanding his duties as Master Physician of the state, Orlek led a very private life. Few would have guessed that he once was one of the most accomplished rite conductors in the history of the Nightwings. History, of course, shall ensure we shall never forget. I think ultimately I stand by my choice to give him his freedom. I mean, he had earned it long ago and was denied it. So it seemed only fair to me. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, the lone minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. Their parting was heartfelt but brief. He remained there, at the summit of Mount Elodial with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq nor Celeste were ever seen again. We know all this now through song attributed to them. Some claim these songs originated in the taverns of the Saurian Union, and merely were imbued with weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims of having met this duo that presided over the liberation rites. Another folktale suggests these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligations, they departed the world we know and rejoined their patrons. One of their famous songs describes another simpler outcome, that the two gave up their duties to the rites in favor of a life that they could share together. In any case, they are likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rites and ushered in our times. There is one more account, which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of her. However, some accounts of her begin to paint a picture. We know she was of common birth, weak-framed, though raised with a penchant for learning. The journey to the downside left her close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found her. They brought her from the brink. She showed them the path. Hey, Etsy, how's it going? Since you said that, I'm assuming that my reading of this game has been at least somewhat enjoyable. It's taken a toll on my voice a little bit. I think I'm drinking more water playing this game than any other. She passed onward with the others. Oh, she pressed onward with the others. She had made a vow to help her friends be free. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turns. Just been on in the background for an hour? All lurkers are welcome here. In that case, drink. Fine. I hope that makes you happy, Alders. How you doing? When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. In the end, however, she remained in exile. From that point on, accounts of her diverge. It is said the voice which troubled her she never heard again. Some say she opted for a place to settle in the downside. Though whether that is true, only she knows. Someday, perhaps, the reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of night, in all its brilliant glory. Yeah, how are y'all doing? How you doing, Edzzy? How you doing, Alders? I hope y'all are having a good one. Until such time, and ever after, all of us give thanks.
Their journey began on a barren waste where the leader arrived, afraid and alone.
Wait. Are they singing about each member of the team in the order I freed them? They are. Holy shit, that is so cool. Well, I thought they were, but I never freed Tizo, so... Same actors, huh? So now I wonder if the lyrics would be different if I didn't free her. Yeah. I've enjoyed my time with this game. Again, it wasn't really the style of game I would usually, choose to play, but I'm happy to have done so. It does sound like the lyrics of that song, several of the verses would be completely different if I had have chosen to like not free some of the characters versus other ones. I'd be really curious to like hear the variations of the song. I'll have to look into it later. True Nightwing campaign mode unlocked? What is that about? All Titan Stars unlocked and some must be... Oh, so it's just like a much harder difficulty. And once chosen, they won't let you change it from here. Holy crap. Cannot load checkpoints or restart rights. Book of Rights fully unlocked. Slug Market inventory fully unlocked. So it sounds like a much harder mode, but they give you a lot more tools starting out. That's pretty cool for those for people interested in that. I'd usually be down to clown, but since like 70% of your time with this game is just reading, I don't think it would like really be worth it to me to pursue that. But it's definitely cool that it's there. Definitely adds some replay value for those who want to go through the journey again. And while I keep saying, you know, I have no plans to replay this game ever, after a few years, you know, I might. You never know. But I think I'm done. Normally at this point I would start looking for channels to raid, you know, friends to visit, streams to hang out in for a bit. But I've got to go somewhere. I let this stream stretch out a little longer than I meant to, just because, you know, it was ending. Like the game is over now. So for the next several months, probably I'm going to be streaming Stardew. Stardew will make its grand return probably early next week if my work schedule doesn't change between now and then. There's always a last minute change of some kind with it. So yeah, I will leave y'all to it. I will leave y'all to enjoy the rest of your days. Enjoy this July 5th, you know, and I'll post in the Discord, you know, sometime within the next couple of days when I'll next be streaming. So until then, I hope y'all have enjoyed what you saw of Pyre. Despite how it may have sounded, you know, some of my criticisms criticisms of it over the course of the playthrough. Like, I really did enjoy my time with it. Didn't enjoy it as much as Transistor, but Transistor is lightning in a bottle. It's like the perfect game for me, as far as like how its various parts work together to become, you know, the whole. So yeah, see y'all sometime soon as we return to the farm. Have you arrived at just the right point again? Yes, yes you have. I'm ending the stream. There's always the VOD, if you care to see it, and the VOD will live forever on my YouTube channel. Whenever I get around to uploading it, exclamation YouTube, I'll just go ahead and throw it out on there. But yeah, I finished Pyre. It's hard to say that I beat Pyre, because Pyre seems to be the kind of game that you can't fail at. Like even if you lose every right, you'll still get to the end, you know? There are no game overs here. Yeah. Hello, Einen. Goodbye, Einen. And I wish all of you a good day. Or a good night, I guess, in some of y'all's cases, since you're like 7-8 hours ahead of me. Yep. See you later. Bye-bye.